Hey James, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I can see you're in the middle of something. But I really need to talk to you for just a moment, if that's okay. I'm in a bit of a bind right now, and I honestly don't know who else to ask. It's a bit time sensitive, so I wanted to come to you sooner rather than later. Do you have a minute to spare?
Of course, Sarah, no worries at all. You can always come to me. I was just finishing up some low priority work, so your timing is actually pretty good. Go ahead and tell me what's going on. Is everything all right? You look a little stressed, which is not like you at all. Take a breath and let me know what I can do to help you out.
Okay, so here's the situation. The quarterly client report is due at 5 p.m. today. That's just 2 hours from now, and I'm only about halfway through it. The morning meeting completely ran way longer than expected. It was supposed to end at 10, but it didn't wrap up until nearly 1 o'clock. That completely threw off my entire schedule for the day, and now I'm seriously behind.
Oh wow, that's cutting it really close. 2 hours is not a lot of time, especially for the quarterly report. That thing has a lot of moving parts. I completely understand how frustrating it is when a meeting runs way longer than expected and your whole day falls apart because of it. Okay, let's not panic. Tell me exactly what still needs to be done and we'll figure out how to tackle it together. What sections are you missing?
So, the executive summary is done, and I finished the campaign performance overview section. But the data analysis section is still completely empty, and that's honestly the most technical and time-consuming part of the whole report. I was wondering, and I know this is a lot to ask, especially on such short notice, but do you think you could possibly help me work through that section? You know the format so much better than I do.
Absolutely. The data analysis section is right in my wheelhouse. I've done it so many times, I could probably do it in my sleep. I'm really glad you came to me instead of trying to struggle through it alone. Just give me about 10 minutes to wrap up what I'm currently working on, and then I'll come straight over to your desk and we'll get started. Does that work for you? Can you hold on for 10 minutes?
10 minutes is totally fine. Honestly, that would be a lifesaver. I mean that seriously. I was starting to feel really panicked about this, and just knowing that you're going to help me already makes me feel so much calmer. Thank you so much, James. I really genuinely appreciate it. I know you probably have your own things to take care of this afternoon, so I don't take this for granted at all.
Hey, don't even mention it. This is exactly what teammates are for. We're all in this together, and I'd much rather spend an hour helping you than have the client receive an incomplete or rushed report. That doesn't look good for anyone. Here's an idea. Can you send me the data files right now before I even come over? That way I can take a quick look and get my head around the numbers while I finish what I'm doing. It'll save us time.
That's such a smart idea. Yes, absolutely. I'm sending them to you right now. I'll also put together a quick written summary of exactly what needs to go into the data analysis section, the key metrics, the comparisons the client always wants to see, and the format we used last quarter. That way, when you come over, we can just divide and conquer and get through it as efficiently as possible. Does that sound like a plan?
That sounds like a perfect plan. Divide and conquer. That's exactly the right approach for a situation like this. You handle the parts you've already started, and I'll dig into the data analysis and get it structured properly. Between the two of us, I honestly think we should be able to finish this with time to spare. maybe even with 15 or 20 minutes before the deadline. So try not to stress too much. We've got this.
I really hope you're right. I keep looking at the clock and feeling my heart rate go up every time I see the minutes ticking by. I just want to say again, I really appreciate you dropping everything to help me out like this. It means a lot, and I want you to know I owe you one. Seriously, whenever you need a favor, you just say the word, and I'm there. No questions asked.
Honestly, don't even worry about owing me anything. We've all been there at some point. Every single person in this office has had a day where a meeting ran over and a deadline crept up way too fast. It happens to the best of us. Just ping me on Slack once you've sent those files over and the summary is ready, okay? That'll be my signal to wrap up here and head over to your desk. Sound good?
Perfect. I'll ping you in just a few minutes once everything is ready to go. Actually, while I'm putting the summary together, can I ask, do you remember the format we used for the data tables in last quarter's report? I want to make sure we're consistent because I know the client is particular about that. Should I stick with the same layout, or is there a better way to present the numbers this time around?
Great question. Yes, definitely stick with the same layout as last quarter. The client specifically told us during the Q2 review that they liked the way the comparison tables were structured. So let's not change what's working. Just use the same column headers and color coding that we had before. I can help you double check the formatting once we've got the content in place. Consistency is really key with this particular client. They're very detail-oriented.
Got it? Consistency is key. I'll make sure to pull up last quarter's report as a reference so I can match the formatting exactly. That's actually a good reminder. I should have been doing that all along instead of trying to remember everything from scratch. I think part of my problem today is that I've been working too fast and not pausing to check my references. When you're rushing, you sometimes make things harder than they need to be, right?
That's so true. Rushing often slows you down in the long run because you end up having to redo things. I've learned that the hard way more than once, believe me. Even when you're under pressure, taking 30 seconds to look at your reference material can save you 5 minutes of corrections later. It sounds counterintuitive, but slowing down slightly at the start almost always leads to a smoother process overall. It's a good habit to build.
That's really good advice, and I'll keep that in mind going forward. I think today has been a good learning experience for me, even if it's been stressful. I'm also going to talk to my manager tomorrow about setting up a better buffer system for days when we have a lot of meetings scheduled. I don't want to end up in this kind of situation again. It's not fair to you or anyone else to be asked for help at the last minute like this.
That's a really mature and proactive way to think about it. Building in buffer time is something a lot of people underestimate. Everyone always assumes meetings will end on time and that nothing unexpected will come up, but that's rarely how it goes in practice. Having even 30 minutes of buffer time built into your schedule on heavy days can make a huge difference. It's a great thing to bring up with your manager. I think they'll appreciate that you're being thoughtful about it.
I hope so. I just really hate feeling unprepared or disorganized. It's not who I am. And today felt like things just completely spiraled out of my control. Anyway, I don't want to keep taking up your time with chit-chat when we both have work to do. I'm going to focus now and get you that summary and those files as quickly as I can. I'll ping you on Slack in about 5 minutes. Does that still work for you?
5 minutes is perfect. I should be wrapping up my current task right around then anyway, so the timing will work out great. And hey, don't be too hard on yourself about today, okay? Things happen, meetings overrun, plans change, and schedules fall apart. What matters is how you respond when that happens, and coming to get help proactively instead of just hoping for the best was absolutely the right call. That shows good judgment.
Thank you. That really does help to hear. Sometimes when you're stressed, it's easy to get into your own head and feel like you've completely failed, even when it wasn't really your fault. Okay, I'm going to stop talking and start typing. The files should be in your inbox within the next 2 or 3 minutes, and the summary right after that. I'll keep it short and clear so it's easy to scan. You've done this report before, so I know you don't need a ton of hand-holding.
Perfect. Short and clear is exactly what I need. Just bullet points with the key tasks and any specific notes about what the client wants. That'll be more than enough for me to hit the ground running when I come over. I actually find the data analysis section kind of fun, to be honest. I know that sounds nerdy, but I like digging into the numbers and finding the story behind them. So, don't worry, you've handed this to the right person.
It doesn't sound nerdy at all. It sounds incredibly useful right now. I'm really glad you enjoy that kind of work, because it's honestly my least favorite part of the whole report. I can write the narrative sections all day long, but the moment you throw a bunch of data tables at me under time pressure, my brain just freezes up completely. We actually make a pretty good team, don't we? You love the data side, I love the writing side.
We really do make a good team. I've always thought that. You're great at communicating complex ideas in a clear and engaging way, which is something I honestly struggle with. My data analysis can be technically solid, but a bit dry if I'm writing the narrative myself. Maybe we should pitch to the manager that we co-author the quarterly reports going forward. It would probably produce a better result, and we'd both be playing to our strengths. That's what good collaboration looks like.
I love that idea. Let's actually bring that up with the manager after we've successfully handed this report in today. I think it would be a really strong proposal, and today would be a great example to point to of how our skills complement each other. Okay, I'm going to stop getting distracted by the exciting future collaboration and focus on the very urgent present deadline. Files coming your way in about 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Yes. Future planning can wait. Present deadline first. Exciting proposals later. All right, I'll be watching my inbox. The moment those files come through, I'll start scanning the data so I already have a sense of the key trends before I walk over. That way, we won't waste any time getting oriented once we're sitting together. Every minute counts at this stage, so let's make sure we're as efficient as possible from the very first second.
You're absolutely right. Every single minute counts right now. I'm on it. Actually, one last quick question before I dive in. Should I email you the files, or is it faster to share them through the company drive so you can access the original spreadsheets directly? I want to make sure you have everything in the most usable format, because the last thing we need is any technical issues slowing us down when time is already so tight.
Good thinking. Definitely share them through the company drive rather than email. That way, I can open the actual spreadsheets and make edits directly without any version control issues. Just drop them into the shared Q3 reports folder and ping me the link on Slack. That'll be the fastest approach. Attaching big files to emails can sometimes be a pain, especially if the system slows down in the afternoon when everyone is working at once.
Perfect. Shared drive it is. I'll drop everything into the Q3 reports folder right now and send you the link on Slack. I really appreciate how practical and calm you are about all of this. When I'm stressed, I sometimes overthink every little decision and end up losing even more time. Watching how you approach things step by step is actually a good reminder for me to slow my thinking down even when the clock is ticking. It's a skill I want to get better at.
That's something that honestly just comes with experience and with being in stressful situations enough times that you stop letting them derail you. When I first started here, I used to panic, just like anyone else when deadlines were closing in. But after a while, you realize that panic doesn't actually help. It just wastes energy and slows you down. What helps is breaking the problem into small, manageable steps and tackling them one at a time. That mindset really does make a difference.
Breaking it into small steps. That's exactly what I needed to hear. I think I've been looking at the whole unfinished report as one giant mountain instead of breaking it down into individual pieces. That mental shift actually makes me feel so much better about the next 2 hours. Instead of thinking I have to finish this huge report, I can think, I just need to complete this one section, then this one, then this one. It feels so much more doable when you frame it that way.
Exactly. That reframing is everything. And now that we've broken it into 2 parts, you handle your sections and I handle the data analysis, neither piece is actually that overwhelming on its own. I've seen you put together the narrative sections of this report before, and you're fast when you're focused. You'll get through your part, I'll get through mine, and then we'll do a quick combined review at the end. Teamwork makes the dream work, as they say.
Teamwork makes the dream work. I love that. Okay, files are now in the shared folder and I'm pasting the link into Slack right now. I've also written a short summary. It's about 5 bullet points, outlining the specific data points the client wants highlighted this quarter. I kept it simple and direct so you can read it in about 60 seconds. Does that give you enough to go on, or do you want me to add more detail?
5 clear bullet points sounds like exactly the right amount of detail. More than that, and it starts to feel overwhelming. Less than that, and you might miss something important. I just saw the Slack message come through, so I'll take a look right now while I finish up here. You're being really well organized about this, Sarah. I know it doesn't feel like it when you're stressed, but honestly, you're handling a difficult situation quite well. Give yourself a little credit.
That's really kind of you to say. Thank you. I don't always feel well organized, especially on days like today, but I suppose I do work better under a bit of pressure than I sometimes give myself credit for. All right, I'm going to put my head down and power through the introduction, revisions, and the conclusions section while I wait for you. I want to make sure those are tight and polished so we only have the data section left when you arrive. I'll see you in about 8 minutes.
8 minutes. I'll be there. I'm just going to skim through the data you sent me right now to get an initial feel for the numbers. One thing I noticed from a quick glance is that the Q3 campaign conversion rates look really strong compared to last quarter. That's going to be a highlight the client will be happy to see. So at least the story the data is telling is a positive one, which always makes the analysis section a bit easier and more enjoyable to write. Good news all around.
Oh, that's such a relief to hear. I had a feeling the Q3 numbers were going to be good, but I hadn't had time to dig into them properly yet. The client is going to be really pleased and always makes the report delivery feel so much less stressful. It's always easier to write a report when the results are strong, isn't it? When the numbers are bad, you spend half your time figuring out how to soften the message diplomatically. But good numbers basically write themselves.
You are absolutely right about that. Delivering good news is always so much more enjoyable than trying to frame disappointing results in a constructive way. Although, to be fair, learning how to communicate setbacks clearly and professionally is one of the most valuable skills in marketing. Anyone can write a glowing report when everything went perfectly. It's the difficult quarters that really test your communication skills. But today, we get to enjoy the good stuff. Lucky us.
Lucky us indeed. I'll take it.
I actually really like that idea. A brief, forward-looking paragraph at the end can make a huge difference in how the client feels about the report overall. It shows you're not just looking backward at what happened, but you're actively thinking about what comes next. Just keep it short, 3 to 5 sentences at most. You don't want it to overshadow the Q3 results, which are the main focus. But ending on a forward-looking note always leaves the client feeling energized and positive. Definitely include it.
3 to 5 sentences. Perfect. I can write that section in about 2 minutes, so I'll add it to my list right after the conclusions. You know, this conversation has actually been really helpful beyond just getting the work done. I feel like I'm learning a lot from you about how to think about reports structurally and strategically, not just as a box-checking exercise. I hope we get to collaborate more regularly going forward, not just in crisis situations like this one.
I feel the same way. Collaboration like this makes the work genuinely better, and it's a lot more enjoyable than each of us sitting alone at our desks, grinding through things in isolation. There's a reason the best teams in any industry are built around people who play to each other's strengths. That's what good office culture looks like when it's working properly. All right, I've finished my current task and I'm shutting it down now. I'll be at your desk in literally 2 minutes. Get ready to sprint.
Ready to sprint. I love that energy. I'll clear some space at my desk so we can both see the screen comfortably. I'll also put the kettle on quickly. There's one of those little electric ones in the corner of the office. And make us both a cup of tea or coffee before you get here. Because if we're going to power through the next 90 minutes together, we might as well be properly caffeinated. What would you prefer? Tea or coffee?
Coffee, please. Black, no sugar. If we're going to finish this report with time to spare, caffeine is definitely going to be part of the strategy. That's really thoughtful of you. Thank you. See, you're already thinking about what we both need to perform at our best. That's good leadership instinct right there. All right, I'm heading over now. I'll be there before the kettle has even finished boiling. See you in 1 minute.
See you in 1 minute. Oh, you made it fast. Okay, coffee is brewing. So here's where we stand. I've got the report open on my main screen, and I've highlighted in yellow everything that still needs to be filled in. The data analysis section starts on page 4 and runs through page 7. The summary I sent you on Slack maps directly to those pages. Should we start at the top of page 4 and work our way through together, or do you want to scan the whole thing first?
Let me just take 60 seconds to scan the whole data section first. I like to get a bird's eye view before diving in. It helps me see where the most important points are so I can make sure the analysis builds toward them logically. Okay, I've scanned it. Right, so the conversion rate improvement on page 5 is the headline finding. That's the number the client is going to remember. Everything else in the section should basically lead up to and reinforce that finding. Let's structure it that way. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. Lead everything toward the headline finding. I love that framing. It's like telling a story where the whole narrative builds toward the most exciting reveal at the end. Okay, so you start typing the analysis for the first set of data on page 4 while I refine the conclusion section. I'll check back with you every 15 minutes or so to make sure we're on the same page. And shout if you need me to clarify anything about what the client was specifically looking for. Sound good?
Perfect system. Let's do it. You know, in a strange way, these last-minute collaborative pushes actually tend to produce some really sharp work. When you're pressed for time, you don't over-edit or second-guess yourself. You just write what needs to be written and move on. Some of the best reports I've seen from this team came out of situations exactly like this one. So don't be surprised if this ends up being one of your strongest quarterly reports yet.
Ha! I hope you're right. I'd love nothing more than for this stressful afternoon to turn into one of our best reports. And honestly, I think it's going to. Having you here walking me through the data analysis with such a clear structure makes a huge difference. Left to my own devices, I would have probably spent too long second-guessing whether I was interpreting the numbers correctly. Now I feel confident we're building something solid. Let's get this done.
Let's get it done. And look at that. It's now 4:42 p.m., and we're on the final review. We've got 18 minutes to spare. That is what I call finishing with time to spare. I told you we could do it. The data section looks really solid, Sarah. The way it flows into your conclusions is seamless. I think the client is going to be genuinely impressed with this one. You should feel really good about what you've put together today.
18 minutes to spare. I cannot believe we actually pulled that off. I am so relieved right now, you have no idea. The report looks really good, I have to say. I'm going to do one final proofread and then send it to the client at 4:55 p.m. on the dot. Professional, polished, and right on time. None of this would have happened without you jumping in to help me, James. I mean it. I owe you a really big one. Coffee for a week? Lunch on me? You name it.
Lunch sounds pretty great, I won't lie. But really, all I need is for you to remember this the next time I'm the one in a bind and need someone to help me out. That's how a good team works. We look out for each other, cover for each other when things go sideways, and celebrate when we pull something off together. Now go send that report and let's both breathe for a minute. Great work today, Sarah. Seriously. You handled a tough situation really well.
Report sent, 4:54 p.m. We did it. Thank you so much, James. This has been such a good reminder that you don't have to struggle through hard moments alone. Asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of good professional judgment. I used to be afraid to ask colleagues for support in case it made me look like I couldn't handle my job. But today showed me that reaching out and working together is what good teamwork is all about. I'll definitely remember that going forward.